You found some raspberries?
Raspberry bushes.
Oh, those look so good. Eat here, Gracie.
Mom, did Mom?
Wait, Luke, you didn't eat any?
Oh, yeah. This is, he already ate 2.
Can I try one?
Yeah, take this one. They're really good.
Sour.
They probably could have waited to be picked, but they're really good.
Yeah,
They're really sweet.
How are the blueberries looking?
Ouch.
They're not quite ready, bud.
Ouch.
I gotta weed all this.
You still have lots and lots of blueberries on them.
Mm-hmm. Not yet.
No, not yet.
They're a little hard.
But don't eat them.
Hello and welcome back to Johnson Branch Farm. I'm excited today to show you what we've got growing in the garden. This week we've had so much rain, but it's okay. Rain's a good thing. And but coming next week, the weather's going to change. We're going to have lots of sunshine. It's going to be warm, and I think that's going to give this garden the boost that it needs. A lot of things like oregano and my squashes and zucchinis and cucumbers are kind of from all this cooler, rainier weather. The highs have been staying in about the 70s, and it's getting down into the 50s at night. So while I'm thankful for the rain, I'm actually looking forward to seeing what the sunshine and the warmer weather, and by warmer I mean like high of 80, will do for these plants. So one thing I started doing that I'm kind of experimenting with is a permaculture garden space. Our property has lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of woods. So I've been kind of studying that, trying to figure out how we can use that to our benefit. And one thing I'm learning is that all of the shrubs, all of the trees, all of the vines, they all play a purpose in keeping that ecosystem full of life. So I'm trying to figure out how I can use that to our advantage. One thing I'm doing is experimenting with a permaculture garden space where basically you just plant your lettuce, your radish, your beets, your herbs, your kales, your kohlrabis, spinach, all real dense and together, kind of like the forest floor. And what that does is it locks in moisture, and it keeps some of those things that need cooler weather cool, and things like the kale and the lettuce shield it from the hot sun. I don't know, it sounded like an interesting concept, so I'm going to give it a try, and I'll show you where I'm trying that out. So if you can make it out behind the weeds, right there is a marigold. One thing they use too is flowers for pollinators. And this whole row right here, all the way down to where the broccoli starts, is going to be carrots. But I started about right here. All of this I seeded lettuce and tot soy and kale. I even added some lemon basil, some marigolds in, and I'm just going to kind of see how this grows. I'm not going to be able to weed it until I know exactly what is coming up, but I don't know, it'll just be interesting. I'm going to cover it with some hay, just try to keep the weeds down and just see what it does. But all the rest of that is going to be carrots, because we kind of had a carrot fail this year, but that's okay. Also, this bed needs to be weeded. This is the reality of gardening and farming on the ground with such a big space for us. Is I've got dill coming up. Smells so good. I'm so excited. I need to go through and kind of thin this out a little bit, but I was just kind of waiting to see which ones were stronger than others. So that's really exciting. There's more coming up right here that I've planted, so I'm going to succession plant all of those for the market. Again, this bed needs to be weeded. All of our beets coming in. I actually added in some tatsoi, lettuce, and kale to this bed too, just to kind of see if I can mimic that permaculture concept. And I've added more beets along the edge here, just to succession plant. I found out here in zone 6 is what we're considered, because even though our county is very diverse, so this side of the county, which we called South End, is higher in elevation. If you're familiar with Brasstown Bald, that's the highest elevation in the state of Georgia, and we live at the base of that. So our climate's much different. I, again, did it here with this radish. I planted in some lettuce. I planted some more radishes in because the kids are really enjoying picking and eating those. I added in some more basils. I'm going to plant some more bee balm, I think, in this bed. And this whole end is going to be kale, will come up. And I'm not quite sure what I'm going to place on this end. I'm going to do something else, but I'm going to put the bee balm right down in the middle. Potatoes are looking stout. They're coming up really well. Uh-oh, we've got our first pests, which we haven't really had a problem. I haven't seen too many there, but this is eggplant, and I've got huckleberries. Those are even starting to flower. That'll be exciting. Tomatillos are coming up. All of my different pepper varieties are coming up. I will take you over to the squash and zucchini bed. But these I'm planted in the main garden just to see how they do versus that spot way over there. Because what we didn't know when we did it was it stays pretty wet, and I don't think they're too happy. So our green beans, these are a bush bean variety. They're coming up very nicely. Yesterday I went through and kind of weeded around them, give them some space, and just plunked in new seeds where just to fill in the gaps. Some of them hadn't sprouted, and the ones that did some of them didn't look too good. These are all our different beans. Gee, that's a good boy. You guys come to see us. These are a purple bean I've got planted on this trellis. These Cherokee black beans are coming up really nicely. Again, all this needs to be weeded. We got that roll of hay over there to put down to combat some of these weeds. These are our tomatoes, looking so good and so happy. Jessica at Roots and Refuge, if you don't already know who she is like the tomato queen. So I followed her recommendations, and I put in each hole, I mix compost, lime, magnesium, and another fertilizer. But she was really big into adding the lime to your tomatoes when you planted them. So I did that, and they are looking so green, the leaves. It's pretty awesome. They're just this bright, vibrant green. And I've grown tomatoes before, like this one is mainly how they look. That one probably needed a little more than what it got, but for the most part they look like this. So we'll see how that goes. I'm just going through and picking off all the suckers. So tomatoes are looking good.
Front. Okay, do it again. 1, 2. Where does that one go, Gracie?
Right there.
Right there. Oh, you need help? I'll help you. Okay, here, you take this. You put that in that hand. No, put this in the left hand. Here, put them together. Okay, now take one. Okay, now come here. 1, 2, put it here. Okay, do it again. 1, 2. Gracie, where does it go?
Right there.
Right there. Okay, keep going. 1, 2. Nope. 3 is right. There you go. Good job. 1, 2. Put the last one here, Grace. Oh, that one's a bummer one. That one. Okay, you be the planter. Luby, are you gonna get back and give me your 2 feet? Come on. No, you gotta come all the way back here, though. Grace is ready to plant. I'm okay. 1, 2, plant. Okay, Grace, come here. Come stand in front. Back up a little bit.
Okay, this is the squash, zucchini, and cucumber area that we started. Actually, I was told this is not as bad of an idea as I thought it was going to be, because since these attract a lot of squash bugs, it'll keep them away from the main garden. I'm going to plant some nasturtiums and marigolds in here to kind of help with the pest control. And then I used tomato cages to hold our cucumbers. These are pickling cucumbers, so they won't get too big. Hopefully they don't get too heavy. So we'll see how it goes. I think we might have lost one to replant that one. They were all looking pretty yellow, but I gave them some, I mixed coffee grounds, some organic fertilizer, and some compost together and fed it to them. And I'm hoping once we get some warm, drier weather, these guys will just take off. I also have some loofah gourds growing over here, which I'm hoping will just trellis out this way. So the cilantro is growing like crazy. Rosemary's a little slow, but oh, this is basil. Got some calendula coming up. The sage is really starting to take off. And the nasturtiums over here are going wild, which is awesome. So far it's all alive. A couple of them are a little wilted, but I don't know if they just got shocked from going in the dirt in the greenhouse to the water in the pond. So we'll see. We got to keep an eye out on the roots, and so we'll probably pull it and check it within the next day or two and make sure the fish aren't eating the roots. So it's exciting. We got lots of little apples on this one tree. Is just covered in apples, which is pretty exciting, and they're all pretty up high, so hopefully the bears can leave some for us. Okay, we are finishing up this day. Kids have had baths. Aaron's doing the feeding and lockup for the night. And yeah, I think we're gonna go chill out. Aunt and Uncle come over and they planted in the garden. We are sharing garden space with them. That is the wonderful thing about homesteading. Everyone is willing to help each other out. She's been bringing some awesome starts and varieties that she's growing. One thing that's really helping us get started and find information and learn how to do different things is by really finding a community. One amazing resource that can help you out is the National Ladies Homesteader Association, and we actually did not have a chapter in our county. A chapter going in our community that is taking off. We're meeting a bunch of wonderful women who are wanting to grow their own food and raise their own animals, or women who are interested in that lifestyle. So I would encourage you to find a chapter in your area, and if there isn't one, maybe you should start one. I'll link them down below in the description box. So we are heading in for the night, put the garden to bed, put the chickens to bed, and then we're going to put the kids to bed. Y'all have a great night. May the Lord bless and keep you until the next time.